Buenos días y bienvenidos. Good morning. Welcome once again to Tiempo. I'm Joe Torres. Puerto Rico continues its recovery from Hurricane Maria more than a year after the storm. The financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald just personally delivered millions of dollars to thousands of families on the island. They were recently in San Juan. We'll talk to the firm's CEO about the trip, the company's fundraising effort, and what they saw during their visit. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, though, a detective shortage on Long Island, where so many Latinos live. More specifically, that investigative shortfall is with the Nassau County Police Department. In fact, according to the Nassau County Detectives Association, there just aren't enough detectives, and the workload is only going up. The association believes the gang crisis is only going to get worse until the detective division is staffed appropriately. Joining us this morning, Nassau County Detective and the president of the organization, John WIGHAUS. He is the president of the Nassau County's Detective Association. Next to him, Barbara Medina. She is a Long Island victims' rights advocate. Welcome. Feliz Año Nuevo. Happy New Year. Good to have you, John. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Throw some numbers at me. I mean, where do you stand in terms of how many detectives you have now and what the number really should be at?
Right now we stand at 320 detectives,
Okay.
which we're budgeted for 360.
All right, 40 short.
40 short for the past several years.
Okay. Gang, but you have a gang unit, do you not?
We do have a gang unit, and right now we have 7 detectives investigating gang crimes in Nassau County.
And as we know at Eyewitness News, the gang issue on Long Island is pretty substantial. If you had it your way, what should you be just within the gang unit?
Just within the gang unit, we like to be up in the 20 detective range.
Okay.
We'd like to be a little more proactive than reactive.
What's the result when you've got a number, when you've got a shortfall that big and the number of detectives within that particular unit that small?
Yes, again, it's more, we want to get out there being proactive, investigating and conducting surveillance on the gangs as to their activities.
Sure.
But right now we're being reactive of just the cases that are coming in, and that's all we can handle right now.
Only because you're short on people.
Correct.
Yeah. I guess I'm getting at this also. What does it do to the guys and women who are in the division now? And the workload for them, I would presume, is more than they can handle.
Yes, the detective division, they're professional, they work hard, and they do what they have to do. But again, we need some reinforcements.
Yeah, I mean, they're only human, and they're still only 24 hours in a day. They have families themselves that they have to get home to at some point.
That's
so,
correct.
you know, there's only a certain amount of overtime that a man can work, correct?
Right, that's correct.
Barbara, you met him or he met you? How did you guys come together?
I actually was referred to him when I was asking around and who can I actually engage with continuing the fight against gangs in Nassau County. So they referred me to him. I called him up and we started building.
When you say we work, how do you work together?
Well, what I do is I pretty much, ask, do you know any families who suffered any type of gang violence with their children, and can you direct me to them so that I continue advocating for them and helping them for any type of services that they need.
Okay.
Because it's important to always know and understand that victims need services too if they need help.
So he helps you in your cause, but how do you help him in his cause? When he initially passed on to you, we're short on people.
Well, it works hand in hand. As an advocate, our job is to work with victims, and I'm very active on gang violence. And it also helps the police department in a sense that, we look for resources so we can help these kids. And it also alleviates problems for the police. No, it's not a problem, but not having these kids in the streets, and so my job is to find the resources, help the parents, and this helps hand in hand with the police,
John, why is there a shortfall?
Well, these issues that we discuss, and it starts in school also.
But why is there a shortfall within the department? I mean, why is it retirement? Is it, what leads to the number being so short?
Retirements, it's detectives being promoted to sergeant.
Okay.
And it's also the lack of police officers submitting letters to become detectives.
Okay.
And that's due to the police officers in Nassau County are great. but there's a lot more responsibility.
I want to ask you more about that in a second, but I want to put up a full screen because we did ask for some input from the county executive there and the chief of police. This is what he had to say. The department is aware of the shortage of detectives and is right now proactively working to rectify items in the past contract that make the assignments less attractive. Nassau County is the safest county for its size in the United States, with historical decreases in crime thanks to the dedicated work of our officers and detectives. Getting back to the contract issue, how does that bear into the shortfall? From what I'm getting out there from the police chief and the county executives, is that their hands are kind of tied in terms of trying to help you out.
Well, the contract, you get a $2,400 raise when you become detective. If you're a police officer, still in police officer steps,
yes,
in your contract, you will continue in police officer steps working as a detective,
okay,
and maintaining a caseload and investigating cases, still getting paid as a police officer. So the attraction to police officers isn't much, right?
There's no attraction.
No.
Okay.
Ourselves, the union, and the commissioner is on our side,
mm-hmm,
and we're proactively trying to recruit police officers,
okay,
to become detectives.
Do you, ideally, what should be the financial incentive to get police officers more interested in putting in an application to become a detective?
Right. Right now, we're without a contract for a year.
Okay.
We're hopefully going to start collective bargaining.
Mm-hmm.
We've been told we will start soon. And
understood.
We've told the county executive we're ready to go. But this is going to be done through a contract where we can maybe fix our step issue,
mm-hmm,
where it will be more attractive for the police officer putting in.
Because in the end, this is about public safety.
It's about public
And
safety.
keeping the people of Long Island safe.
Absolutely.
So we'll pick up on that when our discussion continues. Sit tight. I've got a few more questions for you when we come back. More on the detective shortage in Nassau County. Still ahead on Tiempo, the financial services firm Association, just not enough detectives, and the workload is going up. Joining us this morning, Nassau County Detective John WIGHAUS, and he's the president of the Nassau County Detectives Association, and Barbara Medina. She's a Long Island victim rights advocate. I want to get to you before I ask you another question and show you the statement that came from the Nassau County executive. We asked her for some insight here, and this is the quote. While the department actively seeks to recruit members to designate as detectives, contractual terms negotiated by the previous administration still prove to be a challenge. We talked about that. Remedying that specifically is the main focus of the current administration's collective bargaining process. The county executive is proud of Nassau County's outstanding police force and recognizes their skills and expertise at what keep our crime statistics at historic lows. You know, I look at that and I say, that's fabulous news. Historic lows. Nassau County is one of the safest counties in the New York metropolitan area for a county of its size. Does that get in the way of your argument saying we need help when you've got people who can point to the numbers and say, you're already super safe, how can you tell me you need more?
Well, that's the work of the police officers and the detectives.
Understood.
Absolutely. But the crime stats don't paint the complete picture. There's an opioid epidemic going on right now. There's hundreds of non-fatal overdoses, mm-hmm, and 100 fatal overdoses that aren't crime statistics.
Okay.
Yet they are the result of criminal activity with illegal substances.
Okay.
So the crime stats don't paint the full picture.
Alrighty. The county executive and the administration, have they so far been willing to sit and listen with you as you come to a new collective bargaining agreement that hopefully includes a raise to make it more attractive to get more officers applying to be detectives?
Well, again, we've been without a contract for a year.
Okay.
We haven't sat down. We told the county executive we're ready.
So when you look at that statement, what runs through your mind?
Is she prepared to sit down with us?
It sounds like she's hopeful.
Yeah. And we are hopeful too.
Okay.
We are hopeful too. We hope to have some dates, mm-hmm, for the coming months.
You know, one of the reasons we had you both here, obviously, this is something of great concern to Latinos because of the gang issue on Long Island. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse from the victim's advocate perspective? just, in light of the hard work that they're doing?
And when you look back 2 years ago
Yes.
to what it was to what it is today, we're actually seeing less activity, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening, because here and there sporadically you see it sprout. So we always have our eyes open. I think that in general, police department in Nassau and Suffolk County are doing a great job. Again, but it comes with the resources that families and a lot of these kids need, so that we can help them. And these type of crimes and these type of activities these gangs are doing, these kids are doing joining gangs.
It's beyond
Listen,
brutal.
it's brutal, but with the right resources, I think all together we can actually work and accommodate one another to make it better.
Is there a small level of fear within you and the detectives and the police department as a whole that the gang members are also aware that there's a detective shortfall, and that, quote unquote, for them, if there's a time for them to act, it might be now?
Sure, and that's something we do think about. That's why we are trying to get more detectives into the gang unit and our other specialized units that we are short in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant battle. Let me ask you the same question that I asked her. Are you making inroads in the battle against gangs? And if so, how do you measure that?
Well, we have some of the best gang detectives that there are, and they do a great job investigating and arresting these individuals. But again, in December we had a gang killing in Inwood. We're still digging up bodies in our parks, right in our communities, and there are still bodies out there that we haven't unearthed yet. So, it is still a big problem.
Well, on behalf of not just Latinos, but everybody on Long Island, in the New York metropolitan area, thank you for the work that you and the guys and the ladies do as well in the department, because I can't imagine what it would be without you guys, and we are thankful that you're there. So keep up the good work. Good luck getting more people. I think a lot of people would like to see that, and thank you for being the victim's advocate. My hope is that there no longer is a need for victim advocates.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
That is my hope too.
So
that the next time we need a voice is,
yes,
let's go party.
Yeah.
Let's go enjoy ourselves.
Yeah,
have a wine.
Exactly. So that the next time that you're here, it'll be for like a gala or something.
Absolutely.
That would be ideal. Un placer. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up next on Tiempo, the